Hello people, my name is Rage, and welcome to some more Hearthstone. What we are going to be doing today is playing my decks that I used to get to Legend in the brand new season. So I've been reset to rank 16, which is what you end up as if you were previously Legend, which isn't bad, but I still have a fair grind to go if I'd like to get to it again. So, what better way to begin this grind than by being an utter scumbag of the lowest low? Actually, of the lowest, not the lowest low, because it is my own type of scumbag, my personal brand of scumbaggery, and not copied scumbaggery, which in some twisted sense makes it slightly less scumbaggy. Okay, so the people playing Reynard Zulok just copied are down in like the hell's depth pitch of torture, whereas I'm a few cliffs above them, being mildly tortured for playing my own version of a Zooey type deck, but I still get to at least be on that kind of high ground, right? Right? Oh, I feel bad for this shaman already. So we're going to be playing this for a few games, and then I will switch to my shaman deck, at which point I will have a game I feel proud of. But honestly, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to be frank with you here, okay? I'm not going to be Peter, I'm going to be frank. The best way to get from ranks 25 to 5 is to play Zoo Warlock. As much as I hate Warlock and do not want to advocate more Warlocks on the ladder, in terms of time efficiency, it's just practical to play that deck as much as I hate it. So I kind of have to endorse it a little bit. Once you get to rank 5+, it's better to switch the deck you enjoy the most, learn it really well and get good with it, which is why I switched to Shaman about 50-60% of the time. The Warlock is there as a stress reliever after a frustrating Shaman loss. See, already this Shaman is in a difficult position here, but this is where the slight subtle bits of, I say, skill come into this deck, is if he has Lightning Storm next turn, I'm going to be in a little bit of a bind. So the sensible thing to do here is simply because of his board presence to hit that with the Imp, because I want to keep this guy on 2 health for the Cold Light Seer next turn, and use this opportunity to just, in fact, no, the best thing to do is place the Knife Juggler. That way it makes the Lightning Storm more attractive if he does have it. Then I get to play a free Tidehunter next turn. Could have been arguable there that I should have just used the opportunity to draw, but I'm basically testing for a Lightning Storm without going all in here. So that's what he's going to think about. Feral Spirit would also be quite a good play here. I would be able to get past it with the 2 frees. Yeah, there it is. So pretty much at this stage, okay, I've kind of won already, simply because I can do this. Technically, playing that would have been the better play in hindsight, because I didn't have Lightning Storm, but it would have been too risky. So the thing to do now is simply make these 2 Lightning Storm proof, okay, swap my injured guy with the wolf over here, it doesn't matter which one, and then use my Soulfire to gain the tempo advantage. It doesn't matter that it deleted that. Obviously I would have preferred that it took the Knife Juggler, but it doesn't really matter. So now look at my board. He's got 2 mana, he can't physically Lightning Storm unless he coins up for it. He's probably going to have to Totem, and look what he's facing. Even if he Lightning Storms, this has a 50 chance of surviving, this just is surviving. And there's the Totem he has to play. So within 3 turns, the subtle Murloc mixing into the deck makes it already a lot better. So here I am going to play a Voidwalker, again playing around potential Lightning Storms, and I'm simply going to kill it with that, because we don't want to leave him with a Spell Power Totem. This Soulfire is going to come in handy if he plays anything slightly threatening, and we haven't even drawn into Doom Guards. Honestly guys, this deck is bullshit, and if you want to rank up quickly, do it. And then for everyone else, put a Crab in your deck to non-Murlocs and enjoy your free wins. Ooh, okay, that's a particularly good play. And there's the Lightning Storm. So, we have a good chance of one of our free frees surviving here. Okay, so that's not a thing that's happening, but again, not the end of the world, because he is on 4 mana even. I can do maths, and I swarmed the board again. A second Lightning Storm would be slightly problematic, but again, with double draws and a Murloc War Leader to support any further Murloc draws, he's still in a difficult position. This Soulfire now, there we go, is becoming a lot more useful, depending on what I draw. And again, I don't know why you'd pay a 1/1 against a Knife Juggler, but, you know, I'm not here to judge him, okay? So the thing to do here is hope for some good pings onto the 1-1. That's irritating to say the least. Then Soulfire onto that. In fact, no, if it pings it again... No, it didn't ping it again. Typical. We'll draw again, see what we get. Direwolf Alpha, that is fine. And then simply, again, to weaken further lightning storms, I don't need to push damage home, I'd rather just get rid of that. It could get rock-bited, trade for free, could get buffed in any other way, and because he's injured, if he gets killed by a lightning storm, he's still 2 for 1, because he did trade. So it's, you know, it's a fair enough play. And the next turn, Direwolf Alpha, putting these to 4 damage each, I could bash through anything particularly threatening, like that, although he's probably going to kill it, and I can still use these to bash through it, but ideally, I'd like an extra source of damage from the draw. That is perfect, yes, indeed. So, we play the Direwolf Alpha. If it pings it, then, we still exchange. It makes the most sense. Do I keep that? It doesn't really matter which way around I do things, though this does give it the opportunity to be hit by an Earth Shock, so I am going to kill that there. And then, yeah, I'm going to play the other one, because why not? Board positioning here is important. If I give that, I have the most surface area for the wolves to do work. I'm pretty much at the mercy of his second Lightning Storm now, because he got so lucky with the double free earlier in the game, and this is how it can swing. Both ways, you can end up being completely obliterated by a Shaman, or you can end up being just dominating him. So we'll see how it falls. How the cookie crumbles is what I should accurately say. What is this card? It's not likely to be a Lightning Storm, because he would have played it earlier. So if he's pointing at that, it's not going to be Rock Biter, because that would waste it. What could it be in a... Ooh, a Lava Burst. Is he going to get rid of a Wolf, which is sensible? No, he did not. That's good for me. Exchange and get a free draw. Defender of Argus. Even better there, ladies and gentlemen, because it means I don't actually have to use the Mortal Coil, though in some way I'd rather use the Mortal Coil, so I am going to. Am I going to? Should I? Because I can exchange that for free. I'm going to be exchanging anyway, so I'd rather use this opportunity to get a draw, because what if I draw a 1-mana creature? Well then, suddenly, I have the ability to play it and then get more out of my Defender of Argus. But of course I didn't draw the 1-mana creature, but that's still fine. Put him to free. We've used both Soulfires, which is awkward, and generally speaking, Lava Burst doesn't actually get played, so I just need to draw a Doom Guard to pretty much cinch this game. Of course, depending on what he ends up playing. That was his top deck, so if that's a Lightning Storm again, that is quite unfortunate, though it is a 50-50, and he can't actually Lightning Storm after doing that. But he still has the coin, I think. Has he used the coin yet? I don't actually know. I think he hasn't. I should have kept track of that. Rockbiter is going to kill that with himself, which is kind of a risky thing to do, but he is going to take the damage anyway, so he realizes he might as well go for it and clear my board a little bit, because it does give my charges extra damage. And there it is, game over. Yes, indeed. We'll play that charge, then we'll play that charge, and well played. Honestly, he held that off quite just stellar performance, honestly. That was not bad by him at all. I am pleasantly surprised. It makes me happy when a Shaman holds off my Murloc hybrid Warlock deck, because I find it so annoying to play against. So we'll play one more Warlock, and then one of my Shaman, typically because the Shaman deck lasts a while, but if it's a quick game, we will certainly do 2 of it. I just really want to show you some gameplay with my Legend decks, because a lot of you guys did ask for it. So, you know, blame the people in the comments for this Warlock being played. Potentially I'm going to lose here, though, depending on what I face. What's it gonna be? A Paladin. I am mostly favoured here. Mostly a favourable matchup, but we shall see. And I'm going second, which is unfortunate, but not the end of the world. We get rid of a Sergeant. That's useful for trading up. And that is not a bad turn 1 play. It can't be instantly shut down and can abusive to trade up. Or do I want to play the Flame Imp? I think the safest play, if I was going second, both of those going on the field, best of both worlds, but the thing to do here is put him on the field. That way I can use him to trade up. I want to get the bubble off straight away, because Paladins tend to run Blood Knight, so next turn I have to try and get this bubble off. It's going to be unfortunate for me if he doesn't play anything to let me do that, but I really just do hope he does. I'm hoping for a coin. Alright, fantastic. That is really good news. But the fact he also played the coin is indicative of him really not having the bubble. Millhouse Mana Storm. surprisingly, an excellent card against Zoo Warlock, because it will literally never give me a free spell. That is quite the conundrum. This is why rank 16-15 is interesting. Okay, I've never seen that card played against me, ever. So, I guess I'm just going to exchange the bubble, that way he can't get a free trade off it. Whatever happens, he has to kill, but that is interesting to say the least. I mean, obviously he's going to take the free 2 with this, and then probably play his own 1-1, which still technically puts me in board lead position, because he can't consecrate next turn, but that was one hell of an... Okay! Just gonna... What? Okay, so he's an aggro paladin, who just gave me a knife juggler for free. What is he doing? Why would he... Doesn't make any sense. That's really a bad play. He should have killed my Flame Imp with the Millhouse there. That was a much better play. Why does he think he's going to beat a face race against a Zoo hybrid with Murlocs? I mean, I guess he didn't know Murloc at that stage, but still. Oh, he's also got Murlocs, because obviously he's a face deck. If he goes for face against here, okay, that at least he's not completely bonkers. Still pretty much bonkers, but not completely bonkers. Mortal Coil, lovely jubbly. Get a nice draw off that, and a Murloc War Leader, absolutely fantastic. Couldn't have asked for a better card to come there. So he survives the Consecrate, which lets me play the second Tide Hunter next turn, which puts me in a great position. But Millhouse, Mana Storm, fair play to the guy, fair play, honestly. Whatever floats his boat, put what card you like in your deck, it is a card game, have some fun. Sword of Justice, that is fine, he ain't killing anything with that. And again, that is fine. Although a free 2 gnome is rather... Ooh, lovely jubbly. So we taunt them up and abandon a Murloc. The Soulfire just gives tremendous tempo advantage, so it's always worth using, even if it's on a really weak minion. Just the fact he has nothing on the board is such a tremendous advantage to Zoo. And now as a Paladin, he's got no real straight clear for this. He's not got the 6 mana for the Avenging Wrath. A Consecrate does nothing. Well, it allows him to kill the 5/3 with his face, but honestly, I'd be fine with that. So we've pretty much won the game here. It would take something drastic to stop this happening. That's a fair enough play. It does mean he can exchange the War Leader, which debuffs that guy. Honestly, that was a fairly stellar way of coming back. Hopefully, he goes into the 4/4 here because he realizes how it works. Okay, yeah, he has. Which brings him back down to a free 2, which means I have to exchange like that. A Sword of Justice doing a fair amount of work there. And that is a good combination of cards to get. Yes, indeed. This lets me trade that for that without losing it, and it lets me trade that for that, but I've still got 3 things on the field. Again, mostly immune to Consecrate, and he's down to 2 cards, whereas I can double top deck per turn, and I'm getting deeper into my deck here, so we're searching for more Soulfires and the start of the Doom Guards. But you see, the reason I like Murlocs is because it's actually weak against other Zoo, because they don't trade as well, but their abilities to reach quite nice health pools make them go above Lightning Storms, above Consecrates, above Swipes. It lets them clear a lot of common AoE, which makes them reasonably difficult decks to deal with. That's an annoying card that he happens to have there, incredibly so. And then the 1/1 Recruit coming out. Okay, we are in a rather interesting predicament here. A Voidwalker, a very good draw at this point, and that, of course, is fantastic. So the thing to do here is that'll have to go into there. So I'm simply going to exchange that for that. I'm again playing around Consecrate, making sure everything remains above the 2 health barrier, because that would be his best top deck here. He has to run that into that if he's going to attack, which again is fine by me, and then the 1/1. So he's going to get a Knife Juggle, so typically the Knife Juggler is going to hit my Voidwalker to give him a nice trade for the shield. Whoa! What? Crazy! Okay, Mortal Coil, absolutely lovely. Give me next to draw, Dire Wolf, again absolutely lovely, lets me get rid of this 1 health creature for a favourable trade, and then we will draw again for another Tidecaller. Why the hell not at this stage? So that is going to go into there, like so. Unfortunately, I'm going to put that in Consecrate range, but again, I'm pretty much at the point of dominant. Did I not attack with that? Whoops! Ah, well, it's 1 damage. 1 damage isn't gonna make a difference. Famous last words by Rage Gaming. What you got for me, my pally friend? Ah, I can see, that's what you got for me. Interesting. Bold tactic, Cotton. We will see how it plays out. And then finally, a Shaman game to round off the proceedings with a little bit less scumbaggery. So my surprise Shaman deck, my Shaman deck toting Alex Straza. Watchers get Zoo Warlock in an ultimate tale of irony here. But the thing is, ironically, like double irony here, you don't see that many Zoo Warlocks at high ranking because they tend to move down the ranks. So high ranking is control fights and Zoo slaughtering their way past control decks in order to reach sort of the 10 to 5 threshold. We don't need any of those free to start with. The Unbound can stay because he's a good card against a Druid. The only thing that really counts him is a swipe, and he's not the best swipe target. These cards are fantastic. That lets me do 10 damage later in the game. If I draw the other one, 16. And here we go. Nice. An overall okay hand. Free damage is annoying because a lot of Druid creatures have 4 health, but if I get a lucky totem... what did I even say there? Oh, okay. So next turn, the Coin Unbound is the obvious play to make. My gold swaggy deck that I'm actually proud to play. Hey, Sylvanas, how are you doing? Hopefully this Druid plays some big cards that I can abuse with Sylvanas. Literally, Sylvanas is going to abuse this Druid's cards. I'm not even joking. It's quite deplorable, actually. I don't even know how that happened, honestly. It's just... I should call the authorities or something. There's just some real... just shit going down, and we need to deal with it. And welcome, on is your Drake. That's potentially a terrible play, depending on my totem luck. So, if... Could either Hex it, but that's a terrible waste of Hex. So, totem luck, give me spell... Oh, actually, that one's fine as well, because what I can do is Lightning Bolt it, exchange, yes, he goes down to 1, which would be hero powerable, but now he's back up to 2, and we are fine. Almost as good as spell power there. Obviously, spell power would have been a lot more efficient, but we still used the same amount of cards. We just traded a bit of minion health. So I guess it's 1.5 cards over 2. Yep, that's unfortunate that he happened to have that, but again, it's not completely unexpected against a Druid, and again, we are hoping for that spell power totem, which we got, and board control returns to us, albeit marginally, because totems aren't all that threatening by themselves. 4 mana next turn, not the best turn, but if he does play a Druid of the Claw on 5 mana, that's good, because the Hex, that's a good target for Hex. Druids tend to not run very many bigger cards than that. Honestly, the sensible decision was to charge it there, but he may come back to regret that. As it is, he's not going to. That's irritating, but again, I don't really mind. We've got the Fire Elemental next turn, which is going to get some good trades, although I wish I had 7 mana for a Rock Biter and a Fire Elemental, although this taunt might actually be my undoing. Really? You're gonna... Okay. That's an interesting use of... yeah, okay. Let's... a 5 mana card for a 3 mana card if it hits. I can Rock Biter 4 for 5. It's still kind of mana efficient, but I'd much prefer it to kill it here. Let's hope. Let us hope. Nice! Awesome. Which means I don't have to invest anything else, which lets me just put another totem. Of course, I still don't get my Taunt Totem with a 50% chance, but then again, the Taunt Totem is a mysterious beast that only ever does what it truly wants. 7 mana next turn means 5 with Overload, Khan Bloodhoof. That is perfect. That's a really, really good play for me, specifically, because silence it for 2, drop a Flame Tongue on there, finish it off for that, and then I should have totemed first to get Taunt, but hopefully, there we go. Nature, yeah, nature will rise against you as well. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. And that was a rather efficient play by me. We've dealt with 3 major threats that the Druid is toting in a fairly conservative manner. Could have been a little bit better, but I'm feeling fairly confident here. The health issue against the Druid is fine until you get to about 15. And then you need to start worrying if you don't have constant taunts, but 21 is a fine number. The Black Knight against a Taunt Totem is interesting to say the least. Now, here I have an interesting dilemma, because... oh no, he just solved my dilemma for me. Never mind, guys. because I want to play the Fire Elemental, and the Fire Elemental is going to hit that. But the thing you got to remember here is that if I play the Fire Elemental next to the Flame Tongue Totem, suddenly this Fire Elemental has 8 health, 8 damage, sorry, and is then killable by Big Game Hunter. So I don't want my Fire Elemental to end up by this totem. So what I'm going to do is exchange this totem for this, then play a new totem, which will spawn it on the right side of the Flame Tongue. And the reason I killed the spell power before doing that was to try and get spell power back. Then I can do 2 damage with that, then use my remaining mana to finish it off, keeping it out of Flame Tongue range, meaning it's not a free Big Game Hunter target, meaning he's got to go through it the hard way. So again, a little positioning lesson there with the Flame Tongue Totem, the kind of stuff. Little plays like that are what makes the difference between winning mostly and winning pretty concretely later in the game. I mean, obviously he might not have had a Big Game Hunter, and playing around it like that may have been pointless, but still, it's something to consider, most certainly. I may play Sylvanas on the other side of the Flame Tongue Totem, because if he Big Game Hunters Sylvanas, all he does is give me the Big Game Hunter, and I've not really lost anything. He's just wasted mana to give me a creature, especially if he has something else on the board. So that's almost certainly going to be my next play, and I can Flame Rockbiter this guy to 6 health to deal with, for example, an Ancient of Law, which might be a play here, because he probably wants some cards. He's not got an obvious answer to this, so he's thinking all day, every day. And the Ancient of War. The Ancient of War. And he's going to kill that. I mean, obviously I wasn't lucky with the 1-1. He could have killed it and then Big Game Hunted, but still. How do I want to get about killing this guy? Obviously I could double Flame Tongue and go through it the hard way, which looks to be the sensible option, or I could Rockbiter, but that limits my burst later on. It's a conundrum. It is a conundrum, and I think the way to go is play this, play that, hit it in the face, which is fine, give those 2 damage, and there we go. Yes, it's a Big Game Hunterable, but as I said, he has to give me the Big Game Hunter in order to remove it, so I'm not that worried about that. And he'd need spell power to do an effective swipe here, so generally I've still got a pretty good board. He does have 5 cards to my 4, but with 3 cards on the board like that, it's pretty much in my favour. It's about 60-40 to me at the moment. And we've got a similar amount of cards left in our deck. Making him use Force of Nature early in order to clear the board is fantastic. Yeah, so basically, what I've done here is forced him to use his finisher combo that he was saving to win the game with in order to clear my board. The thing is, though, that he's probably realised now that his maths isn't terrific. He can't actually kill Sylvanas without leaving me with a Flame Tongue Totem, which he didn't want to have to do. And he's now like, oh, whoops, and he has no choice but to do it, leaving me with a Flame Tongue. So that was a pretty poor use overall of his finisher combo. Yes, indeed. I mean, he could have technically attacked Sylvanas with his face if he wanted to clear everything, but again, that would have taken him a big way down towards losing. And a fantastic little turn there. We get some extra cards. We're taunted up from charge. That's not Big Game Hunterable. Just honestly a stellar turn. A swipe on there is going to obviously be effective, but I still retain my card advantage, and I get another Azure Drake next turn. Yeah, I'm pretty happy about this. On it as well, I've still got my second Rockbiter buried in this deck. That's fine. I get to exchange the Azure Drake with that for free, unless he innovates up to a swipe, which he may be able to do now that he drew 2 cards. Or, no, it's got 1 health. I was thinking of Wild Pyroing and giving that Rockbiter, but still doesn't make a big difference. Ooh, that's interesting. Why would he do that? I could Hex that. That's good value on that Hex, simply because he's used 2 cards. He spent 9 mana on creating that creature and 2 cards. I spent 3 mana and 1 card on getting rid of it. This is the opportunity now to put on the Rockbiter to start applying pressure every turn. And yeah, I am reasonably happy, yes, indeed. Oh yeah, I attack with a Hex through that, that makes sense. Cool, and now because we got Healing Totem, the Flame Tongue is not even swipeable anymore, so that ship has sailed. Fire Elemental, another endgame beast on its way. We haven't even really needed Alexstrasza, and that's still as a backup to beat control matchups. This deck really does hammer control matchups. It's just very difficult to gain the upper hand. I mean, what could he do here, really? not a lot. Novice Engineer, not the best card to run, but maybe we're facing someone who hasn't opened a lot of packs. That is always a consideration. Though he did drop an Ancient of Law and an Ancient of War, so he must have got a fair amount of dust or luck from somewhere. How's he going to spend this 8 mana? Because if he doesn't spend it in a very, very wise way, which that indeed was, that reduces me down to 4, 10 damage, 6 with a Fire Mantle. I've still won next turn. Irrelevant of what he does. He'd have to put up a taunt here, and even then I'd get through it. Oh, an armor. Is that going to save him? 4-10? No, it's not, and he's going to attack anyway. That's... I guess he obviously doesn't know what's in my hand, so he's just doing the best play that's available to him. Well played, my friend. Well played. Oh, wow. Apparently he believed me. Honestly, that's a technique you can do. When someone's in a particularly bad position, just say well played, and a lot of the time they'll just concede, even if you can't actually win that turn. It's really cool. But there you go, everybody. That was my surprise deck. It tends to be slow games, so I'm not going to show you another one just because it'd be the same thing again. Which is why, honestly, playing the Scumbag Murloc hybrid deck is probably more fun to watch, just because it goes places faster. But either way, let me know what you thought of the games today. My name has been Rage. I will see you all next time. Remember to like if you enjoyed this, it really does help. Goodbye.